Hello everyone, Vinita this side. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are fit and fine. So, after completing the chapter reading of the first chapter from Class 9 NCRT book, The Fun They Had, in our previous video, we have already discussed about what is the exact story, and with the proper line to line, we have discussed each and everything. The Fun They Had is a story written by Isaac Asimov. So, The Fun They Had is a science fiction story by American writer Isaac Asimov. It first appeared in a children's newspaper in 1951 and was reprinted in the February 1954 issue of the magazines. So, originally it was published at 1st of December 1951. So I hope in our previous video we have completely understand the exact story behind it. So let's start with the summary. In a brief, we just want to look out each and everything that is related to the same chapter, the fun they had. Diary entry by Margie. Our chapter starts from the first line, and on the very first line it is mentioned that Margie used to write diary. So on the same day, she was writing something under the headed of 21st May 2157. So the present story is set in the future. That story is related to the future. In this chapter, in this story, the writer wants to the writer wants to differentiate between old kind of school and futuristic schools, where schools and teachers are not into the exist. So that's why it is written here. The present story is set in the future when children don't have traditional books in schools, because in future there is no any existence of books in schools. They all are different type of schools and books. Entire the school is working only in a single room, and books are not that printed books, those are telebooks. So Margie, a little girl in the story, makes a diary entry. Tommy found a real book. So Margie always used to write diary. On the same day, what she did, she makes a diary entry, what she had been written there, what she had been writing since the complete day, that Tommy found a real book. Real book means printed one, traditional books. The entry reveals the date. A diary entry is on the dated 21st May 2157, showing that the story is set much into the future, as already I think we come to know that if it is headed under 21st May 2157, so commonly the story is set in the future. Yeah? Yes. So the book was a very old one. That was very old. That was very means traditional book. Just like the one that her grandfather had in his time as a student. Just like the one. The book is as old as traditional that her grandfather, when he was a student now, at that time maybe these types of books were there. Its pages were yellow, very it is very common. Like if we got a very previous, very older book, a very traditional book, so the pages become yellow. Yes, and she found it funny, and it was very funny for the these two children, like a girl named Margie and Tommy, because they used to learn, they used to do the work in telebooks only, which are already visible, which are already stored in their telebooks, in their television screen. So according to them, these traditional books, they found it very funny to read, and they were extremely surprised when they saw that the each and every word, whatever is written in this book, they were not moving. Like on their computer screen, all the words, whichever whatever is there, they have to be moved. Yes, but according to these books, according to this traditional book, they were very surprised because even a single word is not moving like on a computer screen. So I hope you will understand this. Okay, next. Feelings about the book. Now, when they got the book, then how did they feel? How did they feel? Okay. When Tommy had the book in his hand, when Tommy had the book in his hand, he called it a waste. Tommy called that traditional book that it is completely a waste. Why? Because after one time reading, it could be thrown away. Yes, of course, it can be. Like if we are purchasing any particular magazine, any particular book to read, and once we read it, we usually what we did, we throw it away. Yes, so same feeling Tommy had felt. Ki it was just a waste of papers. Because after one time reading, one can be thrown away. The same feeling was with Margie too. Margie also felt the same thing, that what a waste. Then Tommy found that book in the attic of his house, where he got the book. He found the book in the attic of the house. Attic means we can say that as a storeroom where we kept unessential things. And the book was about a school. And what is the purpose of writing that book? What is actually inside in that book? So, dear, so children, the book was about a school. Margie hated the school. Why? Because her mechanical teacher a lot. What is the reason? Her mechanical teacher. So according to the activities, according to the performance of mechanical teacher, Margie completely hated her school. Her teacher was not a living being. Teacher was not a man. They are robots. So he was an image that flashes on her screen in her study room. And we can say that these are that mechanical teacher means an image that always flash on the screen in her study room where they are having their all material related to school. In that room on the screen, one image always flash. Okay, so that's why according to the behavior of mechanical teacher, according to the activities of mechanical teacher, he always hated the school. He gave her test after test in geography. And what is the reason that uh, computer screen image in her study room? But she was fed up. by mechanical teacher. That is only an image now. So what is the reason behind it? Why, according to that teacher, she always hated the school? He gave her test after test in geography. What is the activity of mechanical teacher? That daily in the routine in geography subject, he usually give test after test to Margie, and she was not doing well. In that test, her performance was not good. Her failure in geography had invited an inspector who tried to trace out the problem. Her failure, her failure in geography. As she performed very down in the geography sector, so her mother invited an inspector, county inspector, who tried to trace out the problem. To rectify the problems, her mother called for county inspector to trace out what is actually in the problem. So her mother had asked the county inspector to come and find what was wrong. So her mother had asked, called down, called up to the county inspector to come out and find what was wrong, because he tried to trace out the problem. Na? So same reason it is mentioned here also. Like the county inspector has to come and find what was wrong. Okay. So the next point, the arrival of the county inspector. Now the mother called up to the county inspector. So after arrival of the county inspector, what was going on? The county inspector was a round little man with a red face. That county inspector, like we can say that mechanic, was a round, goal-matol little man with a red face, completely red face, tomato face, we can say that. Margie had thought that he would take her mechanical teacher away completely. Margie had thought that he would take her, like if any mechanic is be there in our house, and if we just called that mechanic for a particular thing to repair, and completely tried to trace out the problem. So usually what they did, they take that part away completely, but it was not so. According to Margie, she thought that mechanical teacher, the country inspector had taken with him, mechanical teacher, but it was not so. Why नहीं ऐसा? The country inspector set the teacher right within an hour or so. Fast up, the country inspector repaired that mechanical teacher, and right within an hour, set up, set up ready within 1 hour. He told her mother, the country inspector told Margie's mother that nothing was wrong with the girl. No problem is with Margie. Rather, the screen was so fast for the girl. Actually, the level of the test, the level of geography sector is geared little too quick. Fast was too fast. Margie was having troubles. Yes, Margie has to face so many problems because her problems become very crucious. So now it had been slowed down so that she would be okay with its level. Now Conti inspector came for repair it and tried to trace out the exact problem. Now he got the problem that the level of geography sector was little geared little too quick. So now what he did, it had been slowed down. It means here it is a mechanical teacher or mechanical portion. It had been slowed down so that she would be okay with its level. It had been slowed down. The level is very quick, and now after repairing it, the level becomes very slow so that it is good for Margie. It is according to the level of Margie. Next, the old kind of school. Old kind of school. On reading that book, Tommy had a discussion about the school with Margie. After completely reading the book, Tommy had a discussion. Tommy wants to discuss with Margie about the school, that all kind of schools were a building, common building to all, with some human teachers. Like now, Margie and Tommy, they are two characters, and we can say that they are fast friends. And they usually had a discussion about that book because from that book they got to know about all kind of schools. So they discussed with each other that the old kind of schools were a building common to all. All the kids from the neighbors has to come in that building to study, and they are having human teachers. They are not having like robots and all these intellectual things to learn, who would teach all the boys and girls the same thing if they were of the same age according to their level. No, according to their age, according to their class, they would teach all the boys and girls equally. Okay, next, he gave them tests as well as homework. The human teacher, what was their duty? They came in the school and do the homework, making sure that students had done the homework, and after completing the homework, they usually gave them test. So Margie wanted to know more about those kind of schools. Margie was very excited, like human teacher they had, and they have to come in common building. The name of the building is school, so she wanted to know more about these. Now she become very curious that I just want to know each and everything about that school. But it was time for her to go to her school. But now already it was a time of her own school, that is in the house only. So her mother called her to come and attend the classes. So it was time for Tommy too for his school, and both of them decided to read the book later because now they are having that timing of their own study, of their own school. So that's why Margie and Tommy decided to read the book later. Okay, next one. Margie's schoolroom. Margie ka schoolroom, actually, it was just next to her bedroom where all the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for Margie. Where all the screens, completely mechanical teacher was present there, and it was only waiting for Margie that as she entered in the classroom, we will start the process of reading, learning, homework doing, whatever is there. Her school was open every day except Saturday and Sunday. In week, 5 days her school was open: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Saturday and Sunday will be off. So Margie's mother believed that girls learn better if they do it regularly. Why the school is very regular for Margie? Because her mother's opinion that girls learn better. They can learn better. Instead of boys, girls can learn better if they do it regularly. Next, the mechanical teacher, the screen lit up and started. A mechanical teacher, which is what is actually on the screen, that is an image now. So on the screen, that image is lit up and started and was going to teach lesson on arithmetic. So what was actually in that image on that screen today is what she learned. She learned about arithmetic subject. It was about the proper fractions. So in that arithmetic, she had a particular topic of proper fractions. But Margie had no interest in it. Margie didn't take any interest because her focus is only in that she want to know more about that old kind of schools and teachers. So she don't have any interest in that. So Margie had to put yesterday's homework in a proper slot too. So whenever any student came for attend the class, the first and foremost duty of that student is to put that homework in a proper slot. Slot means a place. So the mechanical teacher never forget to ask for the homework, and always it is completely remembered by mechanical teacher that she has to put her homework in the proper slot, and it would never forget. So now Margie being nostalgic, Margie was sitting in front of her mechanical teacher, but she was thinking of good old days. She was sitting in front of the mechanical teacher, in front of that computer screen, in front of that image, but her interest was not there. She was completely in the thought of the on in that book where she wants to know more about the old kind of schools, good old days, where all the kids had a common time and place to study. Because at home they are alone. Like we have to face the same thing. We had to face the same thing in the COVID time, where students have to be bound in a four walls of the house, and in that only they have to learn each and everything by their online classes on Zoom, Clouds, whatever the apps are there. So she was thinking, and now she was also thinking of a human teacher that used to teach them. Like a man is a smart enough to teach as a teacher, so she was thinking of the fun they had at school. And actually, what was she thinking? She was thinking about the fun, the enjoy they had, what they did in the school. Okay, I hope you will understand it. Now, what is the conclusion of the story? What is actually explained in the story by the author Isaac Asimov? In the chapter, The Fun They Had illustrates how emerging technology is slowly taken precedence over various things around us. That how emerging technology, the intellectual technology, one day in the future, these techniques, these technology is slowly taking the old method of teaching, and it was a very big part to complete change the scenario of the school and teachers. So in the near future, it wouldn't be surprising to see if human teachers are replaced by mechanical devices or robots. Now also we had faced the same thing in COVID-19. Like each and everything must be on the screen, okay, and they have to learn on from the screen only. So if now it is possible, so what about the near future? We wouldn't be surprising. Seriously, we were not surprised. We will not surprise to see if the human teachers are replaced by mechanical devices or robots. The place of teachers definitely it will be happen. like the place of human teacher will be taken by mechanical devices or robots. I hope you will understand completely about the story. Okay, now next point. We do have some questions from NCRT. So first one, how old are Margie and Tommy? What is the actual age of Margie and Tommy? So as the chapter suggests, like Margie is 11 and Tommy is 13 years old. Margie is 11 years. She is younger than Tommy and Tommy is 13 years old. Question number 2. What did Margie write in her diary? And as we already discussed, like she used to write the diary, and on the date of 21st May 2157, she wrote, Today Tommy found a Today Tommy found a real book that from the attic of his house he found a real printed traditional book. Question number 3. Had Margie ever seen a book before? No. It was the first experience when Margie had seen a book before. Had never seen a book before. Question number 4. What things about the book did she find strange? What is the actual thing? What is the actual point about the book that she finds strange? The things about the book that she found strange were, these are some things that is very strange about the book. First one, the pages of book were yellow. The pages became yellow because as we already got to know that the book was traditional and it was very old version. So the papers become yellow and crinkly. And the words stood still instead of moving because that is the traditional book. In that, words are properly printed at a place. But they were surprised. Why? Because they usually had their books on their screen only. So according to them, the words stood still. So it was very surprising thing for them. When they turned back to the previous page, it still had the same words on it. And as they turned back to the previous page of the book, what they found? They found that they had the same words on it. And it had when they first read it. Okay, so they got very surprised to see all these points. So question number 5. What do you think a telebook is? Telebook means a book that gets displayed. It can be a screen that is flashed always on the screen of their computer, their PC, their television, whatever is there. Next question number 6. Where was Margie's school? Did she find any classmate? Where was Margie's school and did she have any classmate? Yeah, we already got to know that Margie's school is next to her bedroom and bedroom may students do not have any classmate. So no, she did not have any classmate. She was alone in that room that was just next to her bedroom. Question number 7. What subjects did Margie and Tommy learn? What was the subjects? So Margie and Tommy learned geography, history, and arithmetic. These are three subjects that usually they learned. Like in geography sector, the level of that geography sector was little too quick, and history sector of Tommy had completely blanked out, and arithmetic projects were given on the screen. Okay, now answer the following with reference to the story. First of all, we do have some statements in that we got to know about who says these words, what does it refer to, and what is it being compared by the speaker. So here we do have a statement, I wouldn't throw it away. So who says this? Tommy. And it, किसको बोला उसने? To the books. And what is it being compared by the speaker? The paperback book is being compared with the telebooks by the speakers. Paperback book, printed books is compared by telebooks here. They used to do the compare between telebooks and printed books. Question number 2. We do have a statement again. Sure, they had a teacher, but it was not a regular teacher. It was a man. Who say yes? Who does they refer to? They means students of centuries ago, students of old kind of school. What does regular mean here? Regular means usually human teacher. Okay, it was not a regular teacher. Regular कौन होता है? Mechanical. That is always on time. That is always on the screen of their PCs. So they do not have regular teacher means regular teacher means the mechanical teacher, but which is every time present visible on their screens only. So what is it contrasted with? The mechanical teacher is contrasted with the human teachers of all kind of school. I hope you will be understand this. Next, we do have some questions like what kind of school, what kind of teachers did Margie and Tommy have? So we are just do it very quickly. Like Margie and Tommy had mechanical teacher. That is a big screen on the computer on which all the lessons were shown and questions were asked. On that particular screen, all the chapters were shown and questions were asked. The children were taught through computer and television screen according to their level. If the age of that girl, Margie, is 11 years, so according to the level of 11 age, her completely sectors was to be determined. And they do not have humans as teachers, they have mechanical teachers like robots. Question number 2. Why did Margie's mother send for the canteen inspector? Why her mother called canteen inspector? Because the Margie's performance in geography was not satisfactory. And I think her sector was geared little too quick according to Margie. So her mother wanted to call country inspector because the mechanical teacher of Margie was not functioning properly. It was not well, and it kept Margie geography test, and Margie was performing worse every time. That how is it possible that in geography sector, in geography test, she performed worse and worse. And Margie's mother was very concerned about this and thus sent for the country inspector. So she called country inspector to check out, to trace out actually what was the problem. So question number 3 we do have, what did he do? Now mechanical teacher came, the mechanical repair mechanic, that like country inspector came. Now what did he do? He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple. What he did? Smiled, then gave her apple. Then he took mechanical teacher apart, उसको अलग किया. Then it fix कर दिया. He told Margie's mother, and then very fastly he completed all the work. And then Margie's mother, that geography sector of the mechanical teacher was veered a little too quick, that it was not a fault of Margie, it was the just only fault of geography sector, which is geared a little too quick according to the level of 11-year-old girl. So now the country inspector had slowed that level of that geography sector to an average of 10 years. Why was Margie doing badly in geography? And what did the country inspector do to help her? Yeah, same thing. Because in geography sector, all the questions that were displayed on the screen of the mechanical teacher was little too quick according to the age of Margie. Because the level of Margie is different from the level of geography sectors questions. So according to that, what did County Inspector do? The County Inspector slowed its speed. He did slow its speed to an average of 10 year because 11 year already only Margie was, so that Margie could be able to perform satisfactorily. Okay, now he slowed its speed according to the level of Margie, so she can improve herself properly. Question number 5. What had once happened to Tommy's teacher? What was the experience with the Tommy's teacher? Like one day, her job, sorry, his history sector was completely blanked out, and he called up the country inspector, and he had taken the history sector apart from the screen. So Tommy's teacher had to be taken away for nearly a month because his history sector had completely blanked out. Question number 6. Did Margie have regular days and hours for school? No. Regular, expect the day of Saturday and Sunday, but usually they had regular days and hours because Margie's mother believed that the girls learn better if they learn at regular hours. Question number 7. How does Tommy describe the old kind of school? What did what did he say about Tommy's old kind of school? Like they had a special building and all the kids went there only to study. Nobody will come to the student. Student had to come and gathered in a particular building, and that building is called a school. Question number 8. How does he describe the old kind of teachers? He tells Margie that old kind of teachers were human instead of machines. Because in futuristic school, we do have only robots and machines to teach the student. But now, according to old kind of school and old kind of teachers, we do have only humans as a teacher, as a machine. The human teacher would educate the boys and girls and give them homework and ask the questions. So same, the scenario was same. The teacher came into the classroom, entered in the classroom, and according to their age, according to their level, they have to teach boys and girls equally, then give them homework and ask some questions. Next, we do have some long questions. What are the main features of mechanical teacher and schoolroom that Margie and Tommy have in the story? The main features of the mechanical teacher. The mechanical teacher has a big black screen on which all the chapters were displayed and questions were asked. Mechanical teachers had big black screen on that. That was an image on that all the chapters are displayed and questions are asked. The students need to put their homework of the previous day and the report of test papers in a particular slot that is present in the mechanical teacher only. The students write answers in punch code. They have to write their answer in a punch code that she already know at the age of 6, and then the mechanical teacher calculates the results right away. Okay, firstly they have to enter the punch code, then they have to enter the complete homework and test papers in that particular slot, and then the teachers calculate the result. The main feature of schoolrooms that Margie and Tommy have. What are the main features? Like in the story, the schools are there at home. It was just next to her bedroom, and they do not have any classmate, and they have already only subjects of arithmetic, history, and geography. They had regular days of school, except the weekend, like on Saturday and Sunday, they have to be and off. And why did Margie hate school? Because of the factor of because of the fact of their because of the fact of her geography sector, because the level of geography sector is little too quick, and he usually giving her test after test and her performance become worse and worse. So that's why he did not like inserting homework and test papers in a particular slot. So she thought that old kind of school must have been fun, because it would have had kids from the various place. So they become they had taken she had taken very much interest in old kind of school, that she had uh, already read in the book that it would have kids, and it was a special building, and all the students from their neighborhood wants to go there only, and it was so interesting place where the all kids sitting together, playing together, doing together, and if they need anyone's help in the study and homework, so easily they can do. Question number three: do you agree with Margie's that schools today are more fun than the school in the story? Yes, we are completely agree. Margie had school today are more fun than the school in the story, but futuristic schools are not according to that level, whatever we are having today. In the story, the schools are in the student's home, that is within the four walls of the house, and this gives no space for interaction between the students. They are not able to understand the how to communicate with the students, how to communicate, how to behave with the relatives and the neighborhood. Only they have to study from the screen, and taking up the text sounds boring. It was very boring, seriously, because in all kind of school we have to be very much careful about that each and everything is going very smoothly. Inserting homework and test papers in a slot on a mechanical teacher every day is monotonous, same as it is वो हर एक चीज जो routine है वो चलता रहता था. Writing answers in punch codes only. Okay, so learning together in school gives school students a wider view of, according to me, learning together एक साथ पढ़ना in class gives a feeling of classmates also. It is also a very wider view of people. Students also get familiar how to behave, how to interact, how to be socialized in the society. So getting taught by human teacher is a way more dynamic than being taught by a machine, because being a human, if we do have a human teacher, na, he or she can explain her or his personal life experience also, like what she actually faced, what was her experience, what was his experience. So by that experience also, a student got to know more about the concept. So if there is any issue with any lesson or any concept, the student can ask the human teacher then and there, बार बार पूछ सकता है. But mechanical teachers are programmed with a certain lesson and concept for a particular day, and during that time when the students solve the homework, they don't get any help from the classmates. So that's why how the schools today are more fun than the school in the story. So it means if we do comparison between futuristic school and the present school, we can say that present kind of school is very good. I hope you will understand it clearly. Thank you. Have a nice day.